So good evening, James, and how are you?
Good, good. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah,
Good.
it's nice to
And
be here.
thank you very, very much indeed for coming on board. How are things panning out for you during this pandemic?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that there's obviously nothing going on in terms of casting for live, although we did have something come in today and we're just kind of working out. It's probably not going to happen, to be honest with you, because it's not functional, but it's
Right.
an overseas project. So just to do with social distancing. And I think that there shouldn't be a rush either. I think government guidelines are too loose to follow.
Yeah.
Um, there most definitely will be a second wave, not to get political, but that will
No,
happen.
no.
And so I just think that there's, within our industry, it's
Mm,
more about today as a performer to really, we've done this to clean office, get yourself sorted, all those skills you wanted to learn them,
yes.
get on top of what you need to work on.
Mhm.
Um, and there are no excuses, and also to gain those skills for what the industry will look like. There are some, I've literally just come off a board member on the Casting Directors Association, and we're also, Rosie and I are both members of the Casting Society of America, and
Yeah.
it's all about the what the industry is going to look like and what casting means, and what that will look like, and it will look different.
Mm.
It won't necessarily be worse. It's just going to be different.
Can
So,
you elaborate how you feel when you say it'll look different? How do you perceive that?
well, I think it'll be some time before people get in the room. Realistically, I think self-taping is going to become incredibly important. It's something that actors within TV and film are much more used to. Theatre and musical theatre, they're not used to it as much,
Mm.
so they're going to have to get used to it, because that's definitely how it will start. Obviously, I don't think, certainly for live event, we won't cast anything without actually meeting people in the room,
Right.
but it's how that will be structured, and it will be slow,
Mm.
uh, and people will need to have patience.
Yeah.
It will be allowed to see more people on the self-tape side of it,
Mhm.
and it will be whittling through all of that. But then obviously those final auditions for anything live will need to be in the room, because it's a different kind of feel when you're putting a cast together that rehearse for 2 or 3 weeks, go away and work and tour or whatever they're doing.
Indeed.
So you're going as much on someone's energy, whereas on a set
Mm.
it's so different. It's you're your own island, really.
Mm.
And you turn up, and when I was an actor for 19 years, and you turn up and it's like, oh, here are your other actors. Oh, great, let's rehearse now whilst they set camera. Okay, great. And that's your rehearsal, and they're
Yeah.
like, let's do it. And so it has a different kind of structure and feel to it.
Yeah.
Obviously some feature films have rehearsals, but even that kind of rehearsal can be done with social distancing, whereas
Yeah.
theatre or live events can't. Um,
Mm. Mm. Mm.
so it's just working all that out. And this project that came in today is something that we had hoped that we would get before lockdown. It
Mm.
came through, but we're like, how are we going to do this? So
Yes.
it's after this, it's Rosie and I sitting down and working out a strategy to
Yeah.
see if it's even possible, because we have to do risk assessments now
Mm.
with the COVID, because we can't have people making each other sick. So it's
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
something we're going to have to look at. It's
And
just
as far as obviously self-taping seems to be the norm, um, how do you feel about seeing actors just looking at them on a screen as opposed to having them in the room and being able to sort of do your job and give them direction? Because once that, I know, you get a self-tape in, I get one from my agent, you maybe have one or two cracks at it, and you send it off, and you only hope that that's right, and you think it would be great if you had somebody there saying to you, for yourself, for example, saying, can you just try it this way, or can you try it that way?
So there are
What's
sort
your
of
opinion?
three types of self-taping for TV and film, realistically.
Mm.
So you've got the day roll, that basically you have to be it. You have to nail it. There's no direction coming. You literally have to give that commitment to the text and to the character, and you have to be it. And the director's on set. He's walking around with his or her iPhone, and they're watching you. They're on set in between takes. Yeah, that person's it. You know, and you send 5 people, and it's one of those 5, and then you literally go, there you go. There are your choices.
Yes.
Then the second type is that scenario. But the director could come back and say, right, I want to give you some direction. Go back and tell her to try this, tell him to try that. And so you go back and go, great, can you retape? And here's the direction.
Yeah.
And then the third type is where, great, we're bringing, and so you, in that second type, you have to nail the character, and so you're basically there, but the director just wants to give you a tweak. And then the third type is, it's for the casting director, and we're going to bring you in the room. And that can be like, they haven't nailed it, but I can see they're a good actor, and I think they're worth bringing in the room because I think they will get it under direction. So if you're not getting direction back, it's probably, you're just not right. So for that role, or the director's seen it and they've gone, no, they're wrong. For that scenario, and that's kind of the truth of it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as for yourself, what do you prefer? If you had a choice, would you have people self-taping, sending things into you, or would you prefer to see people just come in and see you face to face in the room when an agent says, submits, you put a breakdown out, and then, for example, my agent then submits me for something to meet you guys?
So for us, it depends whether it's for camera work or whether it's for live work. So live work, I always want to see someone in the room.
Right.
Something we're excited about is that this will change live casting, because something we've wanted to champion for a long time. We've always championed, we were based in Liverpool for 6 years, and we've always championed being provincial casting. So for every single job that we worked on, I think bar one, we did a casting in Liverpool for that project. And we got the producers to budget that in. So that was, we felt very strong that in our hometown, that casting should go on, and that will still go on because we still have office space there, and we feel very connected with Liverpool. And we had to move literally because we were 4 days a week in London casting, and we were from like March, April last year until 3 months ago, we were in London 4 days a week, every single week. Right. With casting, so we had to physically move, even though we didn't really want to.
Yes.
So but what it allows is that person from Scotland not taking that train journey and that hotel, which is fantastic. It means that you can really open up. You can see more people, although we don't want to go crazy. But then we would then say, right, at this stage for live, you've got to come in. As far as TV and film, you're going to end up on film. So, we were talking just now about, it could be a Zoom audition. So it could be an audition like this, that the auditions like this, and we're able to give you feedback and say, okay, try this. Or if it's a self-tape, as I said before, I don't need to necessarily meet with you if it's for film, because at the end of the day, it's how you nail being on film. And the thing about that is, if you think of like soaps and that world, or even actually film and TV, you could do something exceptional where the writer is on set and they come in and they go, right, for tomorrow, do you know what? I've written this monologue, this character, I just see, so this is what I want you to do for tomorrow.
Yes.
So you have to be able to turn it on like that. So it shouldn't be that we give you hours and hours and hours and hours. It's like self-tapes, practice like you would do everything else, like an athlete practices every day, or a vocalist practices every day, a ballet dancer practices every day. An actor should be practicing learning scripts every day, and just getting on top of text and how that's delivered and their setup. Because when you're on set, especially for soaps, you could be handed 20 new pages for tomorrow, and you've got to work out how and that's where you get these massive pauses in TV, because they're like, and there's all that kind of acting, the Joey school of acting, because they're like, what's the line? And they've had no rehearsals and they're literally thrown into it.
Yes.
And it's incredible skill. There's an actor who we'd cast in a musical, and she got a role in Hollyoaks, and it was a regular. It wasn't just a day, so we let her go from the musical, and we bumped into her in Liverpool. We're like, oh my gosh, how are you doing? She's like, from the theatre world, I had 60 pages of script to learn. I learned everything and for that week. And then they came up to me and were like, so the weather's changed. So it's really beautiful weather. So we're doing summer. Here you go. Here's your script. And she went, oh, and then was like, that's when do I need to know this by? And she was like, tomorrow. And that was her first week, her first day. It wasn't like she'd been there months. She was like, so all that work, all that prep work. So it's a different skill. It's not about being stuck in I've learned that now. It's having that ability. So
yes.
So you just need to practice every day, really.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for soap actors that have been there for a long time, that character's sort of embedded there anyway, isn't it? And
that's why they're so like that. So many soap actors are sort of like their characters. No, they're not necessarily, rapists and murderers, but in terms of how they speak and all of that kind of stuff.
Yes,
and it's a completely underrated skill. It's a completely underrated ability to be able to turn that on.
To do it would be wonderful. I mean, I'm sure everybody that's on here tonight would absolutely die to be in a soap, and I'd love to do it. But there's always that daunting, that worrying thought. But I mean, you hear so many stories where they say that, the rest of the company are all very, very supportive with people. But I mean, there's only support you can give people, isn't there? At the end of the day, it's down to you as the actor to go away, do your homework, learn your lines, and turn up on time, I guess. Anyway, moving on. I'd love to hear a little bit about how collective creative. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic what you're both doing. I mean, it really is. Would you be happy to give us a little bit more about how that started and how what's happening and how people can approach you?
So we were on Broadway, I know, for the press night of 6. It's a show that we cast. We cast in the West End and the UK #1 tour, and it's on 2 cruise ships that we cast twice a year. And then we don't cast Broadway, but the whole British team went to Broadway, and Broadway was closed down that night. So it didn't open, but which is a good thing because it's not a press night on Broadway. They do all the press the weeks before, and that's why I don't know if you've seen like films and stuff when they open and they literally walk off stage and people appear with the reviews, and it's because they've already done them and they hit the print and there we go and they're all ready to go. So that will come back and they'll have the reviews to announce. So it's better to close, but it was mental. And we were like, okay. And we knew immediately the moment Broadway shut down, we're like, right, that's kind of us done. And we arrived back. We got back early we rearranged our flight and came back earlier because we didn't want to be in New York and wanted to get home. And then on the Monday we went. We basically went from a healthy monthly turnover to 0 in 24 hours. So every single client of ours went, we're done. That's it. And it's not that we won't work with them. We're constantly in contact with them, but it was done. Mm-hmm. So we cast for 6 cruise lines. We cast for Europa Park in Germany, TUI Sensatori, Haven Parks, Porton Parks, the tours. We were about to work with this client that I was saying about, and so on. So all of it was done. So we cried a lot, and really just we didn't know what on earth we were going to do. Mm. And we started doing Q&As, and that was actually a lot of people talking about mental health right now, and we were struggling a lot, and somebody asked us to do a Q&A, which we did. And through doing that Q&A, we found we found our own kind of, that was helping us with our mental health, with what was going on. and so we did that, and once we did that one, it was on the hustle. Then more and more people asked us to do podcasts and Q&As, which we did. And then week 2, a friend of ours who works in the business sector sent us through this thing for Innovate UK, which basically they call them competitions, and they're government funded competitions that they run all year. And this particular one was for businesses for areas of business that had truly been affected by COVID-19.
Right.
And by that point, we had seen on social media people coming together in our community as they do, which was wonderful, and doing free dance classes, free acting classes, free voice classes, etc., etc. And we were like, well, this isn't sustainable. This is not going to be possible for people to sustain. Eventually, the practitioners are going to have to charge, and it's going to be awkward going from that free to charging. That's going to be very difficult for them. And at the same time, as we go into it, actors are going to become poorer, and it's going to become more difficult. As we saw it go on, they were desperate for NHS workers. They were desperate for fruit pickers, for people to work on farms, for people to work in supermarkets. And there were actor friends of ours who were like, I've just been online to apply for a job stacking shelves at night at Tesco's, and I failed the online form. I didn't get through.
For stacking shelves in Tesco.
Yeah. So that was happening. And so we sat down and we're like, right, is there a business that we could put together? Is there something that we could think of? And we did. And Rosie and I spent, when I say we, it's always me and Rosie, we spent 5 days putting an entire business plan together. So that's the structure of what it would be, the marketing strategy, all the finances, everything, very, very detailed documents that you have to do all online for this competition. And we did it and we put it through, and then we forgot about it. And then we started to move on. Then we started our industry surgeries, which were fantastic and have been people have loved and felt very helpful. So we started that up, and then we were supposed to know by the 1st of May, but 8,600 businesses had applied for this particular competition. And then we were one of the 800 to win the grant, and we were like, we couldn't believe it. And so, and our business model was kind of 3-strain, but in essence, 30 hours of free classes, dance classes, acting classes, voice classes, mental health, mindfulness, yoga, tax. We've got a tax accountants coming on. They're going to be here every week or every other week. Just everything for 6 months. So it's completely free for the performer or anyone. Yeah. But the practitioners get paid. So, that was the essence. And then we encourage the sustainability of the practitioner. So we have a faculty page. So maybe they do one-to-ones, maybe they do group classes, and we promote them. So it was about creating sustainability within our industry for them.
Yes.
Whilst maintaining free classes. But then it's the reaches also, the future reaches for people from low income backgrounds who can't afford to go to university, can't afford to go to drama school, that can access some of the top practitioners in the country. And it's been incredible. And I think at the last count, we've had 15,500 views, something just shy of 4,000 hours watched, and we've only been going a week.
My goodness.
So it's been incredible, and people have literally, but still people don't know about it, or people are like, what? I don't understand. And so we're just literally trying to get everyone to tell everyone about it, because it's free, 30 hours a week.
Yeah.
For 6 months.
Where do you get things for free in this industry, really, when it comes to it?
Collective Creative Initiative. Subscribe on our YouTube channel.
So that's it.
And so everything is live streamed to our YouTube channel, and then we keep it there for a month.
Right.
So if people are working, whatever, they can go and access. So we average around a live watch of around 100 to 150 on every session.
Right.
60% subscribers, about 30% are not. Sorry, 70% now. It's gone up. Subscribers, 30% not. But it's the afterwatch, that people can go back and watch. So it's been incredible.
And all of this works on the live stream, does it? So that if you're having, what about the sort of privates? If you're having a one-to-one coaching, how does that?
We don't do one-to-ones.
Oh,
that's up to the practitioners to organise in their own thing. Everything is live stream. Everything is for any age.
Yes.
Any socio-economical background, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you're a pro or not a pro. We do things, someone tweeted the other day, it's not about age, it's about ability. So there are different classes. So if you go to an advanced jazz class, the clue is in the title. It's not about whether you're 50 or 60. I know 50-year-olds 60-year-olds that can shoulder their legs. I can't, so I wouldn't go to the advanced, or I would. I did a hip hop class the other day. I would never, as a near 50-year-old guy, I would never walk into Pineapple and go into a hip hop class, but I did it in my office. Voguing class, all that kind of stuff, and it's so great. It's so wonderful, and the emails that we've had and personal emails and tweets from people saying I was in such a dark place. And this has literally saved me because there was nothing for people, and there was lots of different stuff, but not a centralized place that you can come and do these sessions.
So all of this people can find on your website.
So the collectivecreativeinitiative.co.uk is the website, and that title for our YouTube channel, and that's our Instagram, and then on Twitter we're CCI 2020.
Yes. Oh, that's absolutely fantastic.
And it's there for you, free. Go and use it.
Thank you so much indeed. I mean, it's this was just and I mean all the comments and I couldn't believe, and I'm sure you couldn't, the number of people that it literally went into thousands, didn't it? Fantastic, absolutely. Right, we're going to move on, but I'm going to go on to the start the Q&A with you, James, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
So I have a feeling a few people haven't turned up that said that they would, but I'll tell you who we're going to start with. If you want to unmute yourself, we've got Rebecca Grundy. So if you'd like to unmute yourself, and I'm sure James will try and answer your question.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, I've been coming to those classes and they're really good, so everyone should get on them, because it kind of helps in the day as well, because for me, I've just graduated, so I don't really have a lot to do because I lost my part-time job, so knowing I can wake up and go to these classes every day is really nice to kind of keep active and stuff.
Brilliant.
Question for you was, is there such a thing still as any agents that you blacklist? And if so, is there any way of knowing which agents you've blacklisted?
My answer to that question is there's no way of you knowing.
There you are.
That's it. There's no way of you knowing. There's tons of reasons. It's not blacklisting as such, but agents are most agents are awesome to work with, but it's not blacklisting. It's not like we will never see people from agents, but there are agents who are higher up than certain agents because they listen to and read the breakdown.
Thank you.
Does that help? Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, that's it. You're obviously looking to, if you've just graduated, you're looking to sign with agents, right?
Yeah.
So you're worried about which ones to go with.
Well, I've just got an agent, but I don't know if it's the right agent.
I won't say who is your agent. I won't say anything, obviously.
JCM Management.
JCM. Okay. I think we know JCM. I'll look up one sec. Yeah, carry on. So
does that answer your question, Rebecca?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. What about Ryan? Ryan McVie.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, John and James. How are you?
Good.
I've got two questions, so for press
Uh-huh.
for time, I'm happy to just say one.
No, that's fine. Fire away. You'd be okay with the two, as long as you don't go over sort of 5-6 minutes because of time.
No worries.
It's fine. Yeah.
No worries.
Okay.
So, James, thank you for this.
Sorry, so sorry, Ryan. Did you say
Grand.
JCM? Because on you're with Birdston Talent.
You'll have to unmute.
Rebecca, I'm confused.
Oh, yeah, their acting books were closed, but their commercial books were open.
Which one?
Birds.
Right, okay. Oh, JCM. Yes. Yeah, Mark Turner. Yeah, of course. Yeah, good. Fabulous. Thank you. Sorry, I was just checking in. So, cool. Sorry, Ryan. Go for it.
It's fine, no worries. So my first question is, what is your process in an audition on the first day of the first auditions? And then my second question is, how can I get more experience in the casting process from a directorial perspective?
So, question 2, what do you mean by that in directorial perspective? What do you mean you direct and you want to know more about casting?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool. And then the first day, do you mean like what we do, or?
Yeah, your personal process, unless it's like secretive.
No,
or if
not
there's a
at all.
certain like approach that you have.
So, okay. So very quickly, and basically, there are first rounds first. You have first rounds. People come in. Choose a what the production is, so I can be more specific. Tell me a production.
The Crucible.
So it would be a case of coming in, and we would almost, as much as we can, we send material out straight off, because it's just better. That being said, we might ask someone to do their own monologue as well, or have that. So you come in, we'd ask for maybe a minute and a half monologue. We don't want much more than that. We just want to see you, hear you, and that's the first round. And from that, or you bring in material as well, and we'll go, great, can we do that scene? Let's work on this scene, blah, blah, blah. And that's the way. We like to just get to the crux of it as quickly as possible. We don't want to waste your time if you walk in and you're not right, which leads on to the absolute vital importance of your headshot, that whatever headshot you have on, whatever, just for argument's sake, to save me saying all backstage, Mandy, spotlight, I'll just say spotlight, it's just easier, okay? But whatever site you're on, that headshot that you'll put forward, that is what you have to look like. If you don't look like that, it infuriates us beyond belief. So if you're in a play and you've had all your hair shaved off, just tell us, like let your agent say to us, listen, they're in this play, or they've just done this film, whatever it is, they've shaved all their hair off. Great. Okay, great. So that we go, that's what they're like with hair, and they're going to come in, they don't have hair, that's fine. You just got to look like your headshot. And I'll do a little show you why in a minute. So first rounds, you're literally bringing people in and just seeing whether they fit the role, seeing whether they fit the characters, seeing whether they've lied on their CVs. They've said that they are 10 stone 5 and they're 6 foot. So that to me is somebody who's going to be fairly thin as a male, 10 stone, 6 foot. And they come in, they're 6 foot and they're 14.5 stone. You absolutely piss me off no end, because it's not that I wouldn't see you for other stuff, but the role requires you, like The Machinist. Have you seen that film, The Machinist? It's about a guy who's literally on death. Yeah. So we can't have someone who is 14.5, 15, can't have someone my size come in for a role where we need someone to be tall and like really thin, because that's what the role requires. So that's what first rounds are about. They can be infuriating. So that's why your CV is so important. Your headshot is so important. And your communication with your agent is so important, in that you've lost a load of weight, put on a load of weight, change your hair color. Now you have a beard. Now this, now it doesn't, we don't care. I don't care. But if I think you're one thing and you come in as another, I'm furious, because that slot's gone now and we're not seeing the people we should be seeing. and the directors sit there and they're looking and they're like, oh, who have we got in tomorrow? And you're like, you know, it's really upsetting. So first rounds, and then we go, right, we make our yes, no, maybes, and then we go, great, okay, these are the people we're going to recall, and then you go to recall. So that's it. There's no kind of like mystery. The work of the casting director is all those hundreds of hours prior to bringing in the people that come in, the research we do, the looking into them. There's all the stuff that you don't give us on your CV. If we see a tiny sparkle, we think, oh, they could be good. The research and stuff and the hours we put in, more so than you've done for yourself to get you in the room. And that's why you see tweets from casting directors saying, 20 people pulled out today, I'm so angry. And then you get all actors going, well, you know, people do, how about yes, no? No, it's not about that, actually. Why they're angry is because it means that other actors are sitting at home that they could have got in there. They didn't care about, if you don't come in, you don't come in. That's really upsetting, incredibly infuriating. But what's worse is you've let down your fellow actors because they're sitting at home and you didn't show up. You didn't tell your agent, you haven't made any communication, and it happens all the time. It happens so much that we won't hold auditions on Mondays unless they're open dance calls, because people let us down and we can't replace. So we don't want gaps. So we won't hold auditions on a Monday because of actors partying too much on the weekend, and now they can't be asked to come in on a Monday.
And also, I just say that it doesn't give the agent a very good credibility either, does it?
Oh, they're furious. They go and they're absolutely like, oh my, and we're like, where is your actor? And they're like, they should be there, and you haven't told them. And it's just bad. And it's not, it's yes, we are infuriated by that. But what I'm more upset about is there are actors sitting at home that would literally cut their arms off to get in.
Yes.
And in fact, there has been where I've had that, and there's been a Sunday night, and we've had this. The stories, by the way, we know when you're lying, so just don't. I've actually had the phone, and I've said to an agent, stop, it's okay. And they've said, thank you. Don't lie to me, please don't. Just stop. It's okay. Just don't do it. Yeah. We know when you're lying. We know the stories. I was an actor for 19 years. I know all the stories. It's not, you can't pull the wool over our eyes, and so we do. We know when it's a lie. And I've made those calls at 10:30 at night on a Sunday to an actor and gone, the unrepresented actor, because I can't contact the agent. I have a gap. Someone's pulled out tomorrow at 10 a.m. Do you want to come in for it? And they are like, what do I need? And I'm like, I'm going to send you some material. They're like, please send it. And they come in and they've learnt it and they're ready, or they're like, they say things like, is it okay if I hold it? I'm like, you kidding me? Of course you can hold it. I sent it to you at like 10:30 last night. Of course you can hold it. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And they're there and they're prepared and they're hungry. Yeah. And that's what us off. That's when you see those tweets. It's not about they've got gaps and all that. It's about that. It's about we are here. Well, our job is to find talent. That's what a casting director is. We are talent scouts.
Yes.
So when we get let down in that way, it just means we're not finding talent, and it's infuriating. So that's in essence that. To get casting experience as a director, just hold casting. That is as simple as that. You've got to be amazing at admin. You've got to be great at people management, time management, all those kind of things. Also, when you see all the tweets about people complaining about sessions running behind. Do you know the last casting that we did? Do you know why it ran behind? Because actors were late. Or there were train problems, or all of these things, and because we don't want them to not, and I've got stuck on the train, but we still want to give them that time. So it's more than, or it's about an actor's come in and they've not been prepared. So we will not stand there and go, just get out. We sit there whilst they fumble about with this and that, and we're like, and then they kind of, and they're like, oh, can I just, and you're trying to give them the time.
Yes.
And that it's all of that ends up running late. And then we take the flack from like, oh, session, oh, blah, blah, blah. You know, we get it. You know, if sometimes we run behind, we always apologize. Sorry, running behind. It's this, there's been, the central line's been down, whatever it is. So people are in late. We're behind now.
It's organizational skills people need.
Massive
They just need to be, need to try and be organized. And, you know,
and if you need to be somewhere, if you need to be somewhere, like, then just be nice. Don't take to Twitter to either talk to your agent, or when you're outside the room, say, I'm so sorry, I have another casting in half an hour. We will see you. If there's some reason that we're running late, we will see you. But if you don't need to be somewhere else, just go over your script again. Just relax, breathe. It's all right. You're going to be seen. You're one of, we recently did a casting. We had over 4,500 submissions for 110 audition slots. We read every single CV. We watched every single showreel, around 2,500 showreels. So you're there. You're one of over 4,500 for 110 slots. Just relax. It's all good. Do you know what I mean? You're kind of like,
This is it.
We put that work in. So just chill, but just hold castings. That's what I tell you to do, and you will learn. You will literally turn around to your community and going, "Are you kidding me?"
Thank you. Is it okay that, Ryan? Are you?
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you so much, Jim.
Thank you very much. Right. Okay. So next we've got, I hope I pronounced your name correctly, Kiara.
I'll let you off. It's Kira again.
Kira, I'm sorry. Right. Over to you with James.
So lovely to meet you, James.
Hi.
I just wanted to ask, obviously I'm now a 2020 grad, and I would give an arm and a leg to be in the room with someone like you, or like agencies or anything. And I'm just wondering, as I'm looking for representation at the moment, is it better to do two things at once and apply for casting directors and agencies, or just specifically go for the agencies and let them do the thing?
So, really good question. Where have you just graduated from?
Staffordshire University, doing acting for stage and screen.
So the first thing is just breathe. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it's not like every other drama school is getting seen for everything and you're not. Nothing is happening. No one is getting seen. Yeah. Yes, there are a few castings come through for adverts and a few bits and bobs, but it's still like not really. So that's the first thing. The whole industry is on hold, and in December, in January, you will still be the new grad. Yeah. So don't stress. Don't let that like overcome you. Don't let that get on top of you. Just breathe and know that you're still the new grad until next June, July, you're still the new grad. Okay. So just relax. That's the first thing. Yes, you can, if you have showreel material, then write to casting directors for theatre. For theatre, certainly, then write, but only if you have something to show them. Otherwise, just relax. Don't worry about it. If you're looking for an agent, know that you know, obviously not everyone is taking everyone on. It's not the same, but certainly write. If you do write, make them individual emails. You don't mass write, and make sure that email is specific for that agent. Dear Burston Talent, yeah, I'm a new grad from Staffordshire, etc., etc. I've been onto your website and I saw that your client list was XYZ. I love their work, or that is the kind of work I would like to do through my career. I've looked at your social media and I find you a really positive outlet. And I think that as a really positive person myself, we could work really well together. If you could take 5 minutes and Zoom with me to chat with me, I completely understand that you may not be taking anyone on at the moment, but certainly have me on file for the future. It's that kind of thing, and then forget about it. Do not expect any responses, because agents are getting swamped, obviously, by new grads at the moment, and they won't necessarily, they're not going to potentially take you on if they've got nothing to put you up for. Yeah. So it does definitely depend on the agent. And it's the same with casting directors. Yes, casting directors are very open to people writing to them. This is for everyone, not just new grads. If you write to a casting director, don't expect to be answered. And the reason is, prior to lockdown, just before we went over to New York, we finished 6 projects, and we got them all finished right before we could go away. And at that time, we had an intern who she's a drama student who finished, but realized that performing wasn't for her. She wanted to get into casting. She interned with us, and we were literally about to offer her an assistant position. And then lockdown happened. And so, excuse me, and on her first day in, she finished and she went, I sent out 250 emails today. We're like, yep. And she was like, okay, okay. And we're like, and that's tomorrow and the next day. And that's just sending out. Our office was sending out around 400 emails, and there was 3 of us. That's not what's coming in. That's just us sending out. So there's absolutely no way, if you're not right for the project we're casting right at that time, we cannot respond to you. We physically can't. So don't get stressed. Oh, casting directors don't get back to me. Everything gets read and everything gets filed. And then when we are working on something that you might fit into, that's when we might reach out to you again. Excuse me 1 second. Just got a dry throat. So that's how it works. So yes, right. Casting directors only write if you've got a show reel or something to show them. Otherwise, just don't bother, because it's just, they've got nothing to look at. Yeah. So don't, do a self-tape or do something. Agents, the same, really. They need to see you act. So if you've got a showcase filmed, great. Or if you've got something to show them, there's no point just writing without having any sort of material. And personalize it. Personalize every single email you send. Yeah. Is that okay?
Yes, brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Kira. Benjamin, are you there? Hello.
He's just a name.
He's just a name. Hello, Benjamin.
Hi.
Hi. If you'd like to ask James a question, please.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, James.
Hello.
I'm actually from India. Okay, so my question might be a bit strange. So we were actually planning to move to the UK by next year, but because of this COVID and the lockdown, I guess we might be changing our plans. But however it goes, I was just wondering if I'm able to come to the UK, as coming from India, what would be the best I can perform myself in my CV, or I can show myself in the CV to agents. I've done a couple of short films, student films. Other than that, I've not really stepped into this field. So what do you think is the best thing I can do to show myself to the agents over there?
Just that, if you've been in short films and you're able to cut those together as a show reel, that's perfect. And it doesn't have to be long. People get this obsession with having to show loads and loads of material. Almost every casting director I know makes their decision in about 35 seconds. The first 35 seconds of your reel, they've made their decision on you. And so it doesn't have to be a lot. It just, as long as you've got something good, key to know, and you've got time to work on this and make this happen if you haven't already, good sound, good editing, good direction. There's nothing worse than it being like, hi, yeah, I really feel that I do want to love you. Oh, I don't know. I do. Yeah, but it's really important. Yeah, and it's horrible, and you're just like, oh God. Or the editing's really slow and it's clunky. So it's things like that to watch out for. But honestly, almost nothing on a CV, but a show reel can get you in many, many rooms, many doors. Because all this industry is about is showing your talent. So I don't care what's on your CV. If you can show me your talent in a show reel, a vocal reel, whatever I'm casting, That's all that matters. And if you're right for that project and you have the right skill sets for that project, if I need somebody from India, I imagine you're from the South because you have a moustache. Yes?
Exactly.
You're welcome. It's my job. So if that's what I'm looking for, if I'm looking for somebody from South India to play a part, and your showreel is good and it matches your age bracket and you show me all I need, I don't care whether you've done anything before. I don't care if you've trained. At the end of the day, I know plenty of people who've been to RADA and Lambda and blah, and they're still terrible. It doesn't matter. It's whether or not you're good, and your material will tell us that or not. Now, what helps with these institutions or with agents is to get you in the right rooms. But you are a minority within our industry, so that helps you, and that's brilliant. That's a fantastic thing. So that's really cool. Do you know what I mean?
Thank you so much.
When you come over, there's a guy called Suraj, and he has arranged the most amazing thing. And if you find him on Twitter, it's called Bain Bain Bain. That's his @Bain Bain Bain. And he every year he's just a young actor, and he set this up last year. It was fantastic, and he's done it again this year. And it's BAME actors that go, and you can do a monologue, and it might be that you're looking for representation, you're changing representation, or you just want to be seen by casting directors. And literally, he's got it to a point this year where every major casting director in the country is involved and watching those reels. So he does it like a competition where you send your stuff off, but look him up, and he's a great guy, really, really good on Twitter. Yep.
Thank you so much, James.
I hope you make it over here. I really do.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, James. I mean, carrying on from what you were saying to Benjamin, people coming in the room, it doesn't matter what they've done and what they haven't done. It is about the talent and what you're seeing when they walk through the door and when they actually present something to you, isn't it?
Completely, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's absolutely brilliant. It really is. Right, I don't think there's 3 or 4 people haven't turned up. Joshua Allen, do we have Joshua here?
Yeah, hello.
Oh, hi. Sorry, I don't. So, right.
Where are you? Wave. I can't see you.
Same stretch
Joshua,
yeah. Was.
Okay, yeah, cool. I was like, oh, that's so weird.
I haven't got the posh version of Zoom, I'm afraid. So anyway, Joshua, the time is yours.
Do we have time for 2 questions or only one? I've got 2 if we have time.
I've got a couple more people, but fire away.
I noticed, obviously, you went from being a performer to casting, and I was one of the first questions was, how did you go from that process? One of the things I was thinking has come from the end of my university process was other stuff in the industry that I might want to look into, and I was just wondering how you went from being a performer to into casting. And my second question was, we've been in lockdown, we've had to finish uni at home, and we've had to do a lot of self-taping and self-taped scenes, especially on Zoom. Do you think they would be worth using for a self-tape for now while waiting for other stuff to come out and it needs editing? Or they're classical text, though? Would you reckon stay away from a classical text?
No, look, I think the key is that until things get lifted and things can start going back to normal, we've been saying this with our surgeries. We have all the surgeries that we're doing, that Rosie and I provide, is that do a lockdown showreel. That's okay. And you'll have that. You'll be able to take that as far as until the industry opens up again, because everyone understands if that's what you've got, that's what you've got, and that's great. And so yeah, absolutely. How I got into casting, I'd always been interested in casting. I was an actor, but through my 19 years as a performer, I directed, I produced. I worked as an agent for Keddy Scott Associates for just over a year to help build their book. I've written plays, I've written shows, and the casting came from, it was, I worked as an agent because I'd always thought I want to know this side of it, to eventually when I get into casting, when I'm sort of hang up my acting boots, as it may be. And Rosie and I were working for Norwegian Cruise Line as principal vocalists on there. I went away to do one contract. I was like, oh, London, get me out of here. And a friend, actually, I was working the show. He was like, have you ever done a cruise? I was like, no. I said I was offered one like when I graduated, but no, it's never really appealed. And he's like, oh my God, man, you do it. He said, you will love it. was like, all right. And I thought, okay, well, I went and auditioned and I got one, and I did 13 contracts, and I went all over the world, and it was amazing. It was the best thing I'd ever done. Great money. I got to work with Ukrainians, Russians, Canadians, Americans, Australians, other Brits, some of the most talented dancers, acrobats. I saw the entire world. It was really sensational. And one of the companies, so Rosie and I wrote a show, a production show. We sold it to Norwegian Cruise Line that we were working with at the time. And then we were talking about casting. They were saying, oh, you know, Britain is like, we don't really work very well over there. And it'd gone through a massive transition period. And this was before they had all their shows and stuff. And we were like, you're just doing it wrong. And they were like, all right, show us how to do it then. And we did. And that was the start.
Oh,
so normally you intern, assist, become an associate, and then start out as a casting director. But we went straight into it from the off. And yeah, and it, you know, it, the one thing I wish I'd worked with another casting director for was how to pitch. But apart from that, I'm glad that we didn't, and we created our own casting room, our own vibe. We run it the way we run it. We do the things that we do the way we do it. And I'm very proud of the way we run our casting room. So that's it.
Working.
when casting take on people to intern, is there a certain thing you look at for people within them?
Yeah, they can't want to be actors anymore. They can't want to do anything else.
Cool.
I mean, generally we start them as runners. That's the first thing. This particular girl who interned with us, she was our first. We'd had people assist us on projects, you know, got people in, just doing admin really. But she was at Chichester, and I went down to do a workshop there, and they said, oh, listen, she's interested in getting in casting. I was like, great. And I said, you run this then. And I would talk to them, and she did all that kind of stuff. And then I was like, she was really switched on and good. And then we spoke to the college a bit more, and I said, she definitely doesn't want to do acting. No. And then she came and interned with us, and we talked to her a lot, and she was helping us out. She was very, very good at admin, like really, really loved it. And the first job she did was inputting, you know, thousands of actors into our database. And so she did that, and she lapped it up and was like, okay, you're weird. That's fantastic. And yeah, and that's how it came about. And we're like, and then she was literally like, it's just not I get so much anxiety, I can't stand it. I hate being around people. And performing, I loved it when I was an amateur, but this is too much for me. And that was it. And we got a real kind of sense that she just didn't want to be an actor. And that was perfect.
There you go. Thank you very much. I'm just going to call three names out. I can't see you, so whether you're hiding somewhere in the ether. I've got Tahir Ashraf, Debbie Bird, and Ronald Moga. I don't think, are you not here? They did ask to come on and ask questions, and it appears they've not turned up.
Well, if anyone else has questions.
Yeah, what about Kerry? I believe you'd like to ask something. If you'd like to unmute yourself, Kerry. Just give your hand away. That's the one for you. Yep.
Thanks very much, James. I've come into this profession late, so having these sort of sessions where you offer us your insights and perspectives, for me, it's a godsend. Putting myself on a crash course for coming up. My general questions are based around, how do you normally reach out for actors? I mean, I noticed on your website you say things like casting details coming out soon. Do you use social media, or is your preference that you have a series of agents and there's a mechanism that sends out messages to agents and go, you got anybody that will fit this brief? You know, let us know.
So where are you from?
I'm originally from South Wales, but I live in the Midlands.
So
my
whereabouts?
Can change at a drop of a hat, see?
It sounds like about Merthyr Tydfil or somewhere like that. Where are you from?
No, I'm a Llanelli boy.
Yeah, that's not far though.
No, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's no, from South
I'm a
Wales.
half Welsh, and
I've been with them for a long
I grew
time.
up in South Wales, and all my family are from Swansea and Llantyp Major, so I know Llanelli. I actually saw.
Hey, I love you now more.
I saw the All Blacks came over in it was about 1980, 1979, 1980, 81, and they played all the clubs, and of course back then the clubs were like, you know, stand for like 100 people, and I saw them play Llanelli. So the All Blacks played Llanelli before we went and watched them play Wales. They played Maesteg, they played Llanelli. Maybe I can't remember, and I went to every single one. Saw the All Blacks play, like literally this far away. It was insane. Anyway,
I was at the 1973 match on the 25-yard line with that famous kick, the 9-3 game.
I was there, like Max Boyce.
I was actually there. The whole school had a day off, and the whole school had free tickets to go and see it.
Amazing,
so
amazing,
a very special time.
Anyway. Yeah, no, so we use Spotlight. That's our main like we put it out on Spotlight. We generally, as a rule, put it out to everyone, each casting we do. We do use social media a lot. So yes, on our website it might say that, and we'll put the casting on our website, and then we do use social media for certain things. We cast quite quirky things. So sometimes our reach has to be more than just the agent route. And then, but if we then have something that, let's say someone gets injured, or there's a last minute casting, or something comes in, we might go to certain agents only. But we don't have a favored list that we only send breakdowns out to. The reason we might go to certain agents only is because I'll say, I need someone who's from South Wales, who's sort of in his late 40s, early 50s, and, you know, is about 5'9", 5'10", and that's what I need. Yeah. So that's the person, and they'll send you through. What they won't do is send through John, and they won't send through Ryan, and they won't send through Joshua, and they won't send through Sean. Yeah. That's what they'll just send you, and you're exactly the description. And that's why agents become so important. And that's why casting directors have preferred agents, because there are too many chances. Sometimes we'll put a breakdown out, and our description will be Sean, or our description will be John. Yeah. And they'll send us Ryan. And does Ryan look anything like Sean and John? No. And that's that, and that it wastes our time.
Yeah. So
much time. And that's what it is. And so we go crazy, and like, you know, we'll go, no. And so then you just find that, and you just don't see anyone. You're just like, no, let's just move on, because they're not read the breakdown. They're not listening to you, and it becomes time wasting and infuriating. So yes, we use social media. Generally, as a rule, we use Spotlight. Sometimes we use Mandy. Sometimes we use Star Now, but that is more if it's incredibly specific skill set or street casting, things like that.
Right. Thank you very much. Does that help, Kerry?
Yeah, it's perfect. There's only one other, and this is a trivial one. It stems from something earlier. I'm presuming at the moment you're quite happy with selfie headshots. We all know that basically there are no hairdressers unless you happen to have one in the household. I'm on my waiting list.
I actually cut my own hair, but at the back it's like Rod Stewart in the 70s. It's ridiculous.
I know my hairdresser said they're hoping to start work on July the 4th, and I'm on their waiting list. Starting on July the 4th for the first slot, and then I can go back to looking like my headshot.
There you go. Yeah, don't worry about stuff like that.
Right. I'm quite aware of the time, James. It's now just gone 8 o'clock. Now, if you're happy to answer one more question.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure? Yeah. Well, I'm going to pick on somebody then, just to answer because nobody else. I'm going to go to Sean. Sean, is there something you might like to ask
yes.
James about? Yeah?
Yeah, if I could. Hello, James. How are you doing today?
Hi. All right, good.
Good. James, as a former actor, I just wanted to ask you, previously when you was an actor, how did you combat learning lines quickly and sufficiently to get into your role?
So I was always someone that learned through physicality. So just sitting and learning lines was like, oh, crikey. So I would put action to it. I was always the sort of person, I would turn up first day. I didn't know all my script. I certainly knew I'd done my homework on my character, but I would then be, once the moment I'd been directed through a scene, or then I knew I was speaking there, and that was it. It was learnt. So that's how that really helped. If it was something to learn for the next day, like maybe a monologue or something like that, keep it short. Keep the monologue short. Don't stress about having to do 2 minutes. We love it if someone comes in and just does a minute. You're like, oh, is that it? Oh, amazing. Yes. Oh, fantastic. Okay. Can we do it again? We might give direction, or it might be great. Can I give you some of this text? Can you go out and just, so don't worry about it being too much. I remember it was about 10 to 6. And my agent called me and was like, I've got a casting for you tomorrow morning at 10. It's like, okay. I said they need a New York Italian, my colouring, but anyway, New York Italian monologue. Yeah. I was like, and this was when there was we didn't have computers or smartphones. You went to the library to get on the internet. I was like, what am I supposed to do? What do I do? And she went, okay. She went, create a name and do making a pizza. And I was like, that is genius. So I went home and I was like Joey DeLuca, and I talked about how to make a pizza, but with my grandmother's recipe. So it wasn't just like I get some dough, I put some tomatoes on. It was like, by the time I finished on the what went into the tomato sauce, the monologue was over. It was like, it didn't even get to the toppings. Do you know what I mean? It was like, and that's the work. And I did a monologue. I did that. I used to write as well. And I remember I was up for a play and a musical that were going to Dubai. It was Look Back in Anger and I Love You, Perfect Now Change. So that's the musical and that's the play. I was up for Cliff, who Kerry is Welsh. And I was like, oh, flipping it. And I did this speech and I did this speech. And I had just written a pilot, like a sitcom pilot. And I was like, I wasn't happy with this speech. And I was on the tube on the way to my audition. And I thought, I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it. I'm going to do my monologue from this pilot thing that I'd written. And it was this bartender, really crass bartender. And I walked in and I did my song and it looked great. Okay, now your monologue. And I did this and they laughed. And as I walked out, they were like, what's that from? And I said, oh, actually, it's from a piece that I've written. They're like, oh my God, that was hilarious. And audition is about being comfortable and finding your way of being comfortable. So if you're going in with a piece and you're just like not there, find something that you are there with that you can make fit that audition. It's far better. We want to see you comfortable in that audition. And if you came in and you said, look, I had this piece and I'm just not, it's not me, man. I've tried to make this fit for you. So I've got that, but can I just show you act? Can I just act for you? And can I do this monologue? And it doesn't really necessarily fit this, but I will do my best. I've worked on it to try and make it fit. Mm-hmm. But can I just show you my acting? I'd probably go, yeah, show me your acting. That's what you're here for. Go for it. And I go, great. Now, can you do that in an RP accent? Or can you do that in a Scouse accent? And can you make it more like this? And that's certainly how our room is run. So with lines, I always did things. I always did something physical on certain lines for it to go in. Like if I know that my arm's there or that, and then once it went in, I'd take all that away, and then it would kind of be in. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. It does. It helps
a long-winded way of talking about every element of learning lines.
Brilliant. So with the actual, if you're given a script, so you don't have to really actually learn the entire thing. As long as you've got the first, let's say, 30 seconds or 40 seconds, and you deliver it really well. Is that?
Do you mean the entire script for an audition?
Yeah.
Someone gives you the entire script? No.
Yeah. No, like a monologue from the actual audition.
Oh yeah, yeah. It depends. Like if they give you a monologue from the play, you should learn it. You need to learn it. Like if they say this is what you need to learn, and they've given you like 5 days, you need to learn that, because they're also testing your learning capacity. So yeah, that needs to be learned. If it's, can you take this outside and just go over this? Then no, of course not. You know, we just need you to know how to get through it. But no, if someone said this is what we want you to do for the audition, you've got 5 days, please learn this off book. Yeah, we don't mind you holding it. Well, we don't holding it, but we don't want you reading it like that. Do you know what I mean? It's like we need to be able to see your acting and so on and so forth. Yeah, most definitely.
And that goes for TV, for film, and for theatre as well.
TV especially, because they're filming you, so you want to get off that for because you want them to see your eyes. You don't want them to. If I've got script here and I'm on the screen and I'm acting like this and I'm doing this, I'm losing you every time. And the guy who comes in and doesn't do that will get it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got, for TV, you definitely learn that. And that's not about whether they want you to learn it or not. That's about you making sure that camera is locked in here. Yeah. It's like if you've got a table and you haven't had direction, and you know you've got to pick a pen up from the table, know where that pen is, go right, okay, and practice that, go right, that's the pen, without looking down. Yeah. And that scene won't get cut. If you look down and pick the pen up, they'll cut that scene. You can guarantee it. But if you're up, if you're looking and you're talking to somebody, you're doing a scene, and you pick the pen up like that, and then you use it, that scene doesn't get cut. But if I do yada 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 and I look down, you can guarantee the moment I look down, they've cut to the other guy.
Right.
Yeah. It's all about the eyes.
Yes.
Stay engaged. So for TV and film, personally, I would learn that, definitely. It's very different for theatre, but learn that. Yeah.
Thank you.
There you go. So we've learned quite a bit there. It's fantastic. So what I'm going to do now is, because time has really caught up for you, and I also finish off, I'll just ask whoever comes on, is there something that you could say to everybody that we should all take away with us and sort of think about for the future?
Okay, I'll try and do this very quickly. All right, so we've got Helen. Put your hand up, Helen, for everyone. Hold your hand up. We've got Andrea. Hold your hand up. And we've got Sarah D. Okay, can everyone see those three?
Yeah.
It's going to be a really hard one. Okay, you can put your hands down, guys. Out of those two, choose 2 of those, and you can write it in the chat. Okay, so down here, you'll put it into the chat here. I want you to, and so you'll put Helen, Andrea, or Sarah. All right, so I want you to choose 2 of those people who are sisters. So write their first names. Is it Helen, Andrea, Sarah, Helen? Who is it? And right in the bottom.
Sarah and Helen, I would. Oh God. Hang on.
Okay, so kind of overwhelmingly Sarah and Helen. Is it Sarah or is it Sarah? Sarah. Cool. So overwhelmingly it's Sarah and Helen. Put your hand up if you said Sarah and Helen. Cool. Ryan, why?
I think Sarah and I was kind of in 2 minds about after I submitted that. I was in 2 minds about if that was the right answer.
There's no right answer.
Well, based on what we were suggested, I think I don't know what it was.
There we are. Brilliant. That's your answer. Vincent, who did you say?
I said Sarah and Helen.
Why?
So they both have a similar way they express them.
Brilliant. Thank you. Jason, who did you say? This is it. Jason, who did you say? I'm not being rude. I'm literally, that's all you have to say.
Yeah, so it broke up, so I didn't understand. Yeah, the connection broke up.
So have a think then. We're choosing between Helen, put your hand up, Sarah, put your hand up, and Andrea, put your hand up. I asked the question, between those three, choose two who could be sisters. I'll come back to you. Rowan, what did you say?
I said Helen and Andrea, but maybe because they're right next to each other on my screen.
That's it. No, that is as much as a choice as you would believe. Honestly,
also,
that's not a ridiculous
smiles
thing.
are more similar. They were both smiling at the same time.
So who are you choosing?
Yeah, Helen and Andrea.
Helen and Andrea, thank you. Yeah. Kira, who did you choose?
Helen and Sarah, as they've got similar head shapes and nose shapes.
Lovely. Joshua?
Yeah, we were the same. We spoke about it together at the same time, head shape and nose shape.
Sean?
Helen and Sarah as well.
Why?
They look similar.
Great. So between that, so far, we've had look similar. They were together. I don't know. Jason, who did you choose?
I can only see Helena and Andrea, so I'll pick them two.
That's weird. Okay, cool. Great. And Vincent, you were just like, yeah, it's face shape, brilliant. No, that's wrong. Okay, cool. So now two of them are dating. Which two are going out? Is it Sarah and Helen? Sarah and Andrea, Andrea and Helen. Who are dating? There's no right or wrong answer, and it doesn't matter if you say the same people. It's not trying to catch you out. It doesn't matter. I just want to know.
I would say Sarah and Andrea.
Sarah and Andrea. Andrea, Sarah. Sarah, Andrea. Helen. Yes, so it's kind of split. Good. Okay, cool. So we've got kind of like Sarah, Andrea, Helen. It's not too far off. So we've got a bit more. So Sarah, Helen, Sarah, Andrea. So Sarah definitely. So Sarah has the role. Yes. So Sarah's got the role. So now we're choosing, is it Andrea? Is it Helen? So Kath, who do you think?
Well, I thought there was an affinity with Andrea.
Okay. Ellie?
Sorry, I was just trying to figure out how to unmute myself. I just said Andrea.
Why?
Well, she just kind of has this thing, like she's very smiley and I mean, you're all very smiley, but like she just sort of looked, yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, who's very smiley?
Andrea.
And who else did you choose?
And Helen.
And Helen, but why Helen then? Why Helen and Andrea? Because Andrea's smiley.
I've not explained this very well at all.
No.
No, they both just sort of looked like, I don't know, there's just something about them.
Something about them? Great.
Yeah.
Benjamin? He's gone. There he is. Benjamin.
Sarah and Helen.
Why?
The smiles, probably.
The what, sorry? Smile.
The smile.
Smile. Cool, thank you. A smile. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. That's casting. So when you're in the finals, so this is the piece of information I have for you. If you're in that final room, you've now just experienced casting. It is down, you've done your job. You leave, go to the pub, forget it. Give yourselves a break, breathe. I wish someone had said this to me. It's out of your hands, and when you get that feedback and people talk about the jigsaw puzzle, it's down to that. I don't know. We've had, the color of the top. There's just something about, there's okay, yeah. Now, so still with those three, we're going to add Vincent in, basically because Vincent on my screen is right in the middle of the three of them, okay? Vincent is, so at the moment we have, we're going with Sarah and Helen who are dating, okay? And then we had Sarah and Helen who were also the sort of key for sisters. So they're sisters, okay? Vincent is dating one of them. Who's he dating, Sarah or Helen? Helen. Cool, okay. So, almost blanket Helen. So, originally Sarah and Helen were the sisters. Okay. Now Vincent is dating Helen, so now Helen has to be in this, and the final jigsaw is Vincent is the brother of Sarah or Andrea. Who is he the brother of? So he's dating Helen, so that's changed. Who's he dating? Sarah. Who's he the brother of? Sarah or Andrea?
Ooh.
Andrea's kind of winning it. Andrea, sort of Andrea. Okay, so Andrea. So originally Sarah was planted right in there, yeah? She won it because she was dating Helen. That was brilliant. Then we brought this male figure in, who's Vincent, okay? And Vincent is dating, one of those three, and it happens to be Helen. Okay, I mean, this is not, we're making this up. But now he has a sister, and it's either out of Sarah and Andrea. So where Sarah's place was so strong, she's gone now. So now Andrea's back in the picture. And that's the jigsaw puzzle. This is what we go through in a very loose way every time we're putting a cast together. All right? And that's how it is. And it's out of your control. It's nothing to do with talent. It's just because they just look right. Or they smile together. Or they were wearing those tops. Or there's an energy. Or there's this. Or there's that. The talent you've got because you're in the finals. You've got it. You've got the job. Actually, what happens is in finals is you don't lose the job. Other people lose it for you. So by bringing someone else into the mix, yeah, it throws you out of the mix. And you cannot act any better. You cannot do anything better. There's nothing you can do about the fact that everyone wants Helen and Vincent to date. Everyone. There's nothing Sarah and Andrea can do about that. Yeah, there's nothing. So don't beat yourselves up about the fact that Vincent looks better with Helen than he does with Andrea and Sarah. It's nothing to do with their talent. It's just that Vincent slots into that jigsaw. Do you see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the piece of advice I offer you to take away, that it's out of your control. So when you get to those finals, yes, the first stages, prepare, be so prepared, know your characters, do research on what you're in for, know who the casting are, know who the director is, know what the writer likes, all of that kind of stuff. But once you're in those finals, just be yourself, breathe, engage. We love people who ask questions, listen. Listeners are the people who get jobs. And then that's it. It's out of your control because basically Vincent's going to come along and fuck it up for everyone. Yeah, so that's kind of where we are. Yeah, does that make sense?
On that note, what can I say? And I'm sure everybody's going to agree here. You deserve a big round of applause, James, for your time and everything. Thank you so much. And I'm going to stop the recording now for those that are watching, and then we can carry on and have a chat.
Obviously, don't put that public, me swearing like that.
No, it'll be there, I promise you.